Well, what about the risk the policy creep runs into capital gains tax? You know, the preferential treatment of family home or negative gearing. They were all mentioned in dispatches today. We certainly have got the overall budget cost to those out there now in the public domain. How does the opposition play it?
Well, they just have to... the opposition are waiting for economic circumstances to get worse for a chance of victory. Let's be frank about it. And they need to tie the government to that. The electricity bill promise gives them that opportunity. The superannuation policy, even though it hardly affects anyone directly, gives them an opportunity to say you can't trust these guys, they're going to do worse things to you. And some of Jim Chalmers' rhetoric feeds that. But until they make a more major change in terms of tax, which you get the sense the Treasurer really wants to because he was Shadow Finance Minister during that time of the shortened policies. He's happy to expand that tax expenditure statement to show all these supposed taxes that Treasury thinks we should be paying. Until Albanese allows him to introduce some of those controversial measures, I just don't think they have much to worry about, Peter. I mean, if Jim Chalmers was in charge, he would probably go for it and he'd put Labor potentially in trouble. But Albanese is very cautious. Now, there will come a time, and might come by 3 years, when sort of the gloss wears off Albanese. We see, you know, these days it happens a lot quicker than it used to happen. But right now, I still think he's sitting pretty.
Well, then just quickly, I'll go into this cyber stuff that's been picked up today by experts, but just quickly, if they are going to legislate in this term of Parliament, you've got the issue with the teal seats. Many of them will be captured. There's 80,000 Australians impacted by this super change that will be picked up by the larger balances. But news today that Bridget Archer and Russell Broadbent, but Archer's where my focus is, she's also now saying she's prepared to negotiate and talk to the government on this bill and obviously prepared to cross the floor. Now, yet again, I'd say Bridget Archer's in the wrong party. How do you think these will play out?
It's a bit the girl who cried wolf with Bridget Archer, isn't it? I mean, she crosses on nearly everything. Sorry, that's exaggerating. She crosses on so many bits of legislation. Her crossing loses its significance. At the same time, handily for Peter Dutton, she's playing to her constituency in a seat which, frankly, is naturally Labor's. And it's the sort of seat where people would object to people who have more than $3 million in their super fund not being taxed more. So even though she's an annoyance in the Parliament for Peter Dutton, I think some of the tactics she employs essentially help them hang on to that seat. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword there, Peter.
Well, I think they help her hang on to the seat. I don't think they're very good for the overarching Liberal brand or feeling inside the party room. Let's go to the ASD, the Australian Signals Directorate, which is our sort of cyber spy agency. It's inside the defence portfolio. A lot of experts out today said this idea that they could, ASD, the government entity, take over businesses in the circumstance of an attack, a cyber attack, or a hack like we saw with Medicare. They've all said, forget it, you know, dead on arrival. We think this is a stupid idea. Is the government going to pursue it?
I don't know is the answer to that question, but even the review said you could do this. It didn't say you should do this, from Andy Penn and the like. So I think the fact James Patterson came out straight away and expressed concerns makes it less likely, because on national security, it's often easier with that bipartisan support. Look, a lot of this to me really seems like the government being seen to do something. They like to blame the last government on this stuff, but some of these problems you just can't solve. So it involves a roundtable. It involves appointing a new bureaucrat to be cyber coordinator. But will it make any difference practically when it comes to some of these hacks going forward? And I think there'll be continue to be headaches for the government, but at least they're able to show, I guess, that they're having a crack at it. I think we will see tightening up of some of the laws, but I'm not sure on this proposal. Obviously, it's already coming up against resistance, and as you allude to, it's probably unlikely.
I'll leave it there. Andrew Clennell, thank you.